Very good. Well, welcome back for our second session, which is building innovative partnerships and initiatives across Latin America. And I'm delighted to welcome to his first AMBA conference in his new role as the new dean at EGADE at Tec Monterrey, Horacio Arredondo. Horacio, welcome.
Well, good afternoon. My name is Horacio Arredondo. As Andrew said, it's my first time here representing EGADE. I've been at EGADE for the last 3 months, so I'm just arriving at EGADE. I used to work for Universidad Adolfo Ibáñez in Chile for the last 9 years, and right now I want to share some ideas of what is building new partnerships and initiatives across Latin America. So what we do during these 30 minutes that I have, and then we will have some Q&As. I want to share with you some challenges and opportunities that I see and that we can discuss later. Some strategic approach to do what I think we must do. Some tactical approaches to do what I think we must do. And finally, some Q&As, and you can throw some ideas, and also if you want to share some thoughts about what I will say to you. So first things first, because this is about partnerships and collaboration, I make a collaborative effort at EGADE, so I want to thank part of my team. So sadly, no one is here, but Armida, Orla, many of them you may know it. Pablo, Ernesto, René, Sonia, and Andrea work with me in building the ideas that I will present to you. And also, again, this is a collaborative exercise, so this will be an interactive experience. So hopefully you have your phone charged and you keep it near you to share some thoughts with the audience. So let's begin, and let's begin with some ideas. So if you can share with me, do you collaborate with other business schools? Yes or no? You can go to the Menti, or you can just take a picture of the QR. Oh, yes. Hopefully it will work, because we just ended our pandemic experience, so we're almost experts on. Great, so we have two derailed people here, so let's wait for some minutes to. So it seems that someone may choose no wrongly, but everybody collaborates. So this is, I have the tricky question here. How and where do you collaborate? Because here we are in the LATAM Council, so do you collaborate within Latin America or outside of Latin America? And of course, if you and how, no? So, yeah? No, it doesn't change? Okay. No? Oh. No. See? It changed it? No? For no one? Yeah? No. Okay. No. No, because the idea is to technology. Yeah? So, who collaborates with Latin American colleagues? And who collaborates? Yeah? 1, 2, yeah, 3? Everybody. But do you feel that you collaborate more with Latin America or more with outside of Latin America? outside of Latin America. So I think that there we have the first challenge, that probably if we can do this, we will see something more towards this side of the collaboration, efforts. And of course, in my case, at the GADE and also at the Universidad Adolfo Ibáñez, we share the same thing. So we try to collaborate with European and North American schools because this brings us, as Latin American schools, kind of an advantage. We can say, okay, I collaborate with Harvard, Yale, and so on. Yeah? It's part of our competitive edge. And the idea is that if we want to grasp this type of challenge that I will share with you, we have to start think more about collaboration and non-competition, because we have to compete in some things and we have to collaborate in another. So all challenges. And we discussed part of this in our council earlier on, but we have lack of political stability. This is something that we all share, right? Gaston may say, okay, in Uruguay we don't have this problem, but it's the only one, and I'm from Uruguay, so I'm very proud of that. Yeah. All of us are developing economies, and also all of us are kind of outside the research mainstream centers. It seems that the research is done in the United States mainly, and Europe is trying to grow. So this is shared by all of us. And new challenges, global brands that are refurbishing content and just translating from English to Spanish. They translate just with they don't need to translate properly. It's just they put the letters, the small letters, and it's enough for them because they have the brand. So you can take a course from Harvard or Stanford or whatever at a fair price, and we have to compete with that. We have other industries, incumbents, especially consulting firms that are trying to get a chunk of especially executive education, and just for the sake of building their brands. This is not at least for now, this is not a business for them, but they are trying to sell or talking to the clients about they can say, they can have something to say to them. And finally, we have these trendy digital competitors that they sell, I don't know what they sell, but they are selling a lot of things to our students or to our markets. So they have old and new challenges that are pressing. And what we do in this regard, we have a low level of cooperation. So we are trying to compete each other's and with that, and we compete for the same pie. So welcome to our LATAM Red Ocean. We're trying to compete for a small chunk of students, and the thing is what we can do about it. So we also are plenty of opportunities as well. But that requires a new shared goal. Some opportunities that at least I saw in the region. We are the world third economic region of the world. So we are not a small economic region. We are the third largest economic region. Our societies look to business to deliver change. Okay, so I think that is a global trend, but especially in Latin America, I think that we are always on this pendulum of state thinking, and then the business can do something. But I think that our societies are looking to us or to our business to do something about it. And And I think that we can offer novel insights on regional issues that are totally different of what is going on in Europe and North America. And we can have something to say that is different of what the mainstream institutions are saying. So what are the opportunities? I think that the first opportunity is localized content. So we need to have more content that is relevant for our audience and content that we can deliver in a way that is not, that the main competitors of the global competitors can't do. Leveraging our academic reputation. So we have to leverage our academic reputation. We have to say, okay, we are not consulting firms, we are not, but we can say something different and with the rigor that as academics we can do. And finally, we can leverage some tangible differentiators. We went to yesterday with Gaston and Gustavo to the old city, and this is tangible, and this is incredible. And do we sell this type of cultural differentiators? Do we sell this type of things that you don't find that in the rest of the world? So what is my idea that we should position in Latin America as a thrilling region to explore, because it's culturally different, because it's economic different, and because the business in Latin America are different. So we have singularities that you can find only here. And in beginning of the day, we were discussing if we are different or we can compare with Africa. And I say, no, we are totally different. You know, we're a developing region, but we have many singularities that we can leverage to do something about it. So, in my opinion, what is the strategic approach to do this, to really positioning Latin America as a region where you can come to study and to understand what does it mean to make businesses in the third largest economic region of the world? And first of all, I think that we have to think in terms of a shared purpose. And here I have some examples of initiatives that were totally incredible, but what they have in common, that all of them has a purpose, a great purpose behind it. So, of course, we have the International Space Station. Russia is collaborated there, and you can make that Russia and the United States collaborate in this kind of endeavor. We have the World Economic Forum, where the academia, the businesses, and the NGOs, everybody wants to be there and collaborate. We have the Genome DNA project. Again, academics for all over the world, for different, how you say, different, this how you say? I lost the word, but people from different specializations that wants to collaborate in this huge endeavor. And this is one that I really like. I don't know if you know Station F in Paris. This is the world's largest startup campus, which is located in Paris, and it's incredible if you can go to know Station F. It's incredible. More than 1,000 startups and companies, and HEC from Paris is there. It's incredible. But what every of these endeavors and initiatives have in common, they have a powerful moonshot purpose behind it, right? So it's not a kind of purpose, it's a moonshot purpose, which aims for a collective good. It's something important, but it's important for many people. The collective good requires a co-creation. So it's not just a small purpose that we can do it collaborating just us. So we need to unlikely partners to be collaborating. I think that the spatial station is interesting example because you have countries that are you know, in the extremes of how they thought, and they can collaborate. And each partner should have unique skills to bring to the table. So when we thought how we can position in Latin America, we have to find this moonshot purpose. What will be our purpose to collaborate? Because if we want to collaborate just for research or for, we need to find this type of ideas or goals that can be really pushing us to collaborate. So what are our real challenge to collaborate and innovate? First of all, I think that we need to find the pressing problems of Latin America. Not the easy ones, but the ones that require holistic approaches or holistic solutions. Not just academic stakeholders. So we need to find initiatives that will be able to bring to the table the government, NGOs. So we need to find something that is relevant to many stakeholders. We have to organize and working together. And I think that the most important is that will the business schools and our special skill could be this advocacy for raising unacceptable issues. So we can be the ones that push and brings to the table this look of what we can do, but in a different way. So I think that this could be not just a side research and so on, but what we can do to push that many things that are happening in Latin America can be happening, and we can do something from the business side. So just try if you can share some ideas. Well, I don't know. And I asked to use my computer because we can have this problem with the computer of the room, but finally, yeah, we have. No? No? Yeah, it's working. Great. What are the pressing, interesting problems that we need to address? What can be those problems that are the moonshot ideas that we can share and that can be important to discuss? It works? If it works, it should pop up something here. No? Yeah? It's working? Yeah, I don't know why. Okay. So the important is that we will have everything recorded to later on. So some ideas. What ideas do you have? Some pressing problems? What do you want? Who? Yeah, poverty. Poverty. What else? Inequality. Yeah? Trust. Great. Wealth. Wealth? Wealth? Wealth. What else? Inequality. Yeah, inequality, it should be informality. This is great. Yeah, I was talking to someone from Uninorte that will be here today. Yeah, Mario, and he has many thoughts about this topic. So probably we can find some pressing issues that we can share, and we can build something around that. So the idea is that after, if this thing works, we will have some ideas that we can share after the conference. So what might be a tactical approach to exploring these pressing problems that we have to address together? Some ideas, just some ideas. And I separate this in two key type of partnerships. In teaching, we can create some regional courses or student consulting processes to address, for example, inequality, or to address poverty, or to address, but not because what I see is that we say, okay, let's do some coils, and we do coils in marketing. I don't have nothing to, or strategy. I am a strategy professor. But what if we can do something that is really relevant to our students, and something that what our students can learn differently than they can learn from outside Latin America? We can leverage technology for initiative focused on Latin America singularities, not general content. Again, we should try to do something that is not in the mainstream, that you cannot find in the textbook, because otherwise we are competing again with the mainstream competitors. In terms of research, I think that we should try to go to the big international institutions, IMF or the World Bank, and many of us collaborate or create an initiative found by IMF, right? On equality or So, and we are not exploring that. We are trying to go to the small funding that we can have from our governments and so on. But what if 10, 15, 20, or the whole almost 40 AMBA schools in Latin America collaborate for a project where IMF or the World Bank can put money and we can put what we know? Also, we can address some problems in partnership with big companies. There are companies that are willing to put money for the pressing problems of our region, because if we solve these pressing problems, they will sell more. They are not, they don't have such a huge herd. They see a business opportunity in solving those problems. And I think that this is especially important because at least what I'm seeing in many of our countries is that the funding for research is disappearing. For example, I came from Mexico. In Mexico, AMLO says that he is not going to fund more research, so he evaporated every funding for research in Mexico. So I think that this is something that could happen in our countries. And finally, I think, and we were talking with Enrique some minutes ago, we can create an international forum to convey this type of ideas, not just the mainstream ideas, but the ideas that are pressing to the region and important for the region. So I think that if we collaborate in those pressing problems with this mindset of openly work together to solve those problems, is more important than trying to do things bilateral and trying to solve problems that are not important for our region. So the goal, I think, those partnerships should be enablers of the comparative advantage of Latin America. Not the competitive, but the comparative advantage. How we can build this comparative advantage that you can say, here there is something that is singular to Latin America, and we can build this new positioning for Latin America. So how we can move forward, how we can do this, and this is something from Harvard Business Review. It's a quite old paper, but I think that it's good for what we can do. We can try to make an innovation mall, and I don't know, maybe AMBA could post some problems, and we can say, okay, different schools in Latin America go to this mall and put some ideas, and I don't know, maybe AMBA or someone could say this is the right partnership. Or we can have this innovative community. We have a network here, so we can start from what we have, or Cladea, for example. So a network where anybody can purpose problems, and of course, the purpose of the partnership, and decide which one should be pursued. So someone we can share the problems and the partnerships, and someone can choose. We can some elite circle when someone here, and we can start to collaborate a select group of business schools chosen by a key player. Again, it could be AMBA or whatever, or a key stakeholder. We can say, okay, let's go to World Bank, and World Bank say this is the money, and I will select which one are the best fit to what I want to do. And also, this stakeholder define the problem and select if the approach to solve the problem is the right one. Or we can have a consortium. We have many experience about that. Yeah? We have for example, STEP in family business. We have this kind of consortiums. For probably many of you participate in GEM, right? The Global Entrepreneurship Monitor. And this is a consortium where a group of business schools decide everything. And in a closed environment, we decide everything that we want to do. Those, of course, are just ideas, and which will be better for this community. What do you think? Which one of these approaches will be better? We can vote, but of course we will have to raise our hands, but or this was great. I don't know what. Oh, this is working. Yeah, great. This is working. We can vote. Yep. Oh, great. This is working. So it seems that for the 8 that has voted, innovation community could be the best one. You are done? You probably will be. And I have one last question, that the final one. And of course, sadly, hopefully will work. Who is in? What, who is able? Who wants to start to think about something as big as a Latin American initiative aimed towards the big issues? Yeah, fit, great. Yeah, of course. Okay. Great. Everybody's in. EGADE is here, by the way. Great. So I made this just because I think that if we share the power of what we can do and the type of, great, Amba is there, great. The type of institutions that we can bring together to do something like that might be great. So I will share all the information with Andrew and the team of Amba, and of course, some Q&As.
Hi everyone, my name is Julio Guzman. I am from Universidad Andrés Bello, Chile, and just wondering about your idea of IMF guys and things like that for your initiative. I was thinking about financial education for schools because Maria Clemencia already mentioned that there is a source of informality, a block for all entrepreneurs and everything. And I think that we know the guy. The guy is Eric Parrado, and maybe you might know it.
Yep.
He's the chief economist at the research department at IADB, and we should talk with him, try to get this fund that you mentioned, because I think that this is something that all our countries have in common, that we need to improve the financial education for better market, better market in terms of competitive, because the financial market, we know that it has a lot of asymmetries and things like that. So I am in.
Yeah. I can email Eric because old colleague, and for Gustavo also. So yes, there you have another issue, right? Financial inclusion. There's and I might say.
Sorry, something that I didn't mention. That Eric founded
Yeah, in Chile.
in Chile,
Yeah.
related to financial education for schools.
And
So he is already involved in that.
Another great example, MasterCard financed a center in EGADE, and they put $500,000 to financial inclusion. So if we can talk to them and make something for the whole region, probably they are more than eager to put some money, extra money on that regard. Yeah. We have another question here.
Thanks. My name is Alejo Rodríguez Casio. I'm from Universidad Torcuato Di Tella in Argentina. I'm trying to connect the previous session with this one. And I used to work before in the government of Buenos Aires, running the investment and trade promotion agency. And we used to work with different cities in Latin America, connecting companies that are trying to scale up. And mostly when you have a startup, for example, in Argentina or in Chile or in Peru or whatever, and they want to grow, the first thing they do, they go to a neighboring country, right? And in the previous session, we were talking about that many universities, they are working with the entrepreneur ecosystem in their region. So maybe one concrete way in which we can collaborate is when we have a company that is working with our students or graduates from our university, and they want to expand to Chile, for example, or to Colombia, or to another country in the region, then we can do this network of universities helping these companies from our local universities moving abroad. because many times it's difficult regulation, it's difficult to have the contacts, it's difficult to get to know which are the government institutions or initiatives that can help them establish their business there. And these startups that are scaling up, the Mercado Libre or the Rapis of this world, they try, and maybe trying or not, they help to work on these issues we are talking about, informality or financial, for example, Mercado Libre is working in financial assistance, right? So maybe that is a concrete way in which we can help each other through startups and these startups programs we run.
And you mentioned Mercado Libre, thinking about who can be a partner for us. Mercado Libre wants to grow from Latin America to the world. They are trying to scale up the financial markets, and there also you have probably money to put into an initiative that try to solve inequalities in terms of financial inclusion and so on. So I think that when we start to think about who might be first able, because they have the money, but also who wants to do something about it, many names start to pop up, because at the end they're trying to do something in the whole region, and we have the scope to do something with them. Anyone else? No? Thank you. Oh, okay. Yeah.
No, I just wanted to ask, I agree with lots and lots of stuff you say, in fact, virtually everything, but, sorry, start again. I agree with lots of the stuff you said, but it would be boring not to ask a provocating question.
Okay,
because,
great.
Because by proposing your new mission, or the mission of business schools, to a certain degree, one of the things which has changed is who are the customers. Because suddenly society is the customer, the key stakeholder. Is that not selling short the individual student who comes to you?
Great. I presented my strategy 2 weeks ago, and my new purpose deals with the future of Latin America. And of course, one of our professors raised the hand and said, where is the student, right? And I think that at the end, we are talking about purpose. And one thing is our strategy and our, if you might say, your mission. But at the end, what are we going to achieve as a business school? I think that should be in this side of the equation and not the other one. But it's really, for me, for example, as a dean, and I think that for many of you, it's very difficult to claim this new purpose, because at the end, your inclusive, your board, in my case, one of my board members say, okay, but this is a university. You are not a charity foundation. You are a university. What you know to educate people, and let's keep with that. But I think that if we don't do nothing beyond that, we are in the middle of this war where I'm the dean of a graduate school. Probably the undergraduate schools are more protected, but I think that the graduate schools, if we don't do nothing about what is going on, we are going to be really challenged. But great question.
I will follow on the provocative path, I guess. So I'd like to thank you very much for the call for collaboration that you launched to all of us, and I think it's not a hard sell, I would say.
Yep.
But I'd like to ask you from the experience that you have had across Latin America, I mean Chile and now Mexico and so forth. Yes, what I think we are missing in this conversation until this moment is that I think it's a bit parochial in nature. I think the geostrategic narrative talking about the future of Latin America is somehow missing. I think we never mentioned Asia, and I think Asia is a major player now and for the future for our business, and in particular for the future of business in general, globally. And I'd like to know a bit about your vision of how you see Latin America in a world in flux, such as the world that we are currently living in, and what are your expectations for the region in comparison to other regions that might be sexier in terms of education, but also in terms of growth potential, in particular Asia and Africa with its demographic credit. I think it's a region to consider.
Great questions. First of all, I as you said, I have what I saw from Chile and what I see right now from Mexico. If I sat in my new chair in Mexico, I would say we have everything to do, because Mexico right now is talking about inshoring, is talking about how we can leverage the proximity of Mexico to the state, something around $30 billion on top of the current GDP, just for new endeavors towards enjoying. So I think that's huge. I think that the question for us as a region, especially for those that are more near United States, is how we can leverage this nearshoring and how we can go beyond what we have done in the past, that is just maquila. And if we can push this forward, I think that the future is very bright. But of course, Asia is, but I think that Asia has its own market, and they will compete with each other. And I think that we can do something to be more relevant for incluso, in fact, for Asian companies. For example, we will have a workshop for all the VPs from Huawei that they want to understand what it means to do business in Latin America, especially in the energy industry. But the energy industry is different in Mexico than in Colombia, so we can collaborate in this type of discussions, you know, and we can do cases, and we can do many things in terms of what does it mean to do business in Latin America, that I think that is very different from Asia. And lastly, I think that Africa is still on the rise. I think that they have many road ahead, and I think we can be a hot topic in the near future if we understand that we can make the. I think that Asia in the 90s was very clever in the sense that they embrace the money that the developing countries wants to pour them, but they said, okay, we are not going to be just a maquila type of countries. We want to do something with the money that you are putting in our economy, and right now they are competing head to head with the United States. I think that the great question for us and for our clients, you know, our students and also our companies, is what will be the role of the companies in this fourth industrial revolution in Latin America, in terms of we are going to be the ones that we are going to just manufacture what the United States or Europe want to elaborate, or we are going to do something more about it. But I think that we can be, and I think culturally, I think that we are more we are more near Europe and the United States than Asia. Asia is culturally very different, and I think that there we have another key advantage compared with a business school in Asia or China. Of course, I had the luck to speak with Andrew. You might also have this opportunity to speak with deans in China, and they have, I don't know, 2,000 students, but in Mandarin. So they have what they need, and we are. I think that we are in a different stage than Asia. 20 seconds. So thank you, and hopefully we can share some ideas. So, thank you.